Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again towards Parashat Bamidbar, and we see in this week's parasha that we count Am Yisrael, and then they are divided by different tribes, and each three tribes have a flag, and this is the structure in which they traveled in the desert. While the Oron HaKodesh, while the Ohel Moed, the most holy place, was in the center, and all of Bnei Israel were actually camping around this center. In the same way, later on, when they get eventually to Eretz Israel and they build the Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim is the center. We are celebrating Yom Yerushalayim this weekend, and we are happy to have Yerushalayim in our hands again, and the Kotel and the place of the Beis HaMikdash back in our hands again, and we understand that this was the focal point. It still is the focal point. The Midrash Tanhuma says, Yerushalayim taburo shel olam, which means that Yerushalayim is the navel, is the belly button of the whole world. How come it's the center of the whole world? Because Yerushalayim is the center of Eretz Israel, and Eretz Israel is the center of the Middle East. It is the center of the world. But there's another explanation to this, because the navel, the belly button, is where the umbilical cord is connected to the mother. And that means that is where we're connected to Hashem. In fact, we're not the only religion. There are some other religions that sanctify Jerusalem. We all believe that this is the place, this Sha'ar HaShamayim. This is the gate to heaven, and therefore we daven always. We always daven towards Jerusalem. Wherever we are in the world, we face Yerushalayim in order to pray, because that is where the umbilical cord is connected to upstairs, to our Kodesh Baruch Hu, to the mother. And where do we get the name Yerushalayim? Melchizedek Melech Shalem, who was Shem, Cham and Yefet, Shem, he gave the name. He was Melech Shalem. He was the king of Shalem, and we know about Shem. Shem was the first Rosh Yeshiva ever, because the first yeshiva was called Shem Ve'ever. Ever was his grandchild, so he was the eldest. So he was the first Rosh Yeshiva. He was the most knowledgeable first person who understood Torah, and we call him Shem. And until today, anybody who goes against his thoughts is an anti-Semite, because Shem is the center. At the same time, we call the place Hashem Yira'eh, because Avraham Avinu called, after the Akedah, he called the place Hashem Yira'eh. And what do we know about Avraham Avinu? Avraham had a pure heart. So we have Shem with a pure mind, and we have Avraham with a pure heart, and we have Yir'eh and Shalem. We've got the two together. But so why aren't they called Yerushalem? Why it's called Yerushalayim? Because that two hands are Yadayim, and 2 weeks are Shvuayim. When we talk about plural of two, we have Ayim at the end. So here we have Yerushalayim, because we need the Seichel of Shem, that eventually the Sanhedrin sat in Yerushalayim, the Sanhedrin sat in Lishkat HaKazit, in the Beis HaMikdash, without the center of the brain of Am Yisrael, and everybody used to come all their regel in order to experience their leiv, avodas halev, to worship Hashem with our heart, where in Yerushalayim was the center of the heart and the center of the brain, and therefore it's plural. It's also plural because what I mentioned before, because we are in Yerushalayim Shel Mata, we in Yerushalayim are connected to the Yerushalayim which is upstairs. So that's plural, and also heart and brain is plural, so Yerushalayim is general, but it's plural on another level as well. Yerushalayim lo nitchalka l'shvatim. Yerushalayim doesn't belong to any specific tribe. The tribes, as they went in the desert, everyone to a different direction, and the Ohel Moed, the center, didn't belong to any specific tribe. In the same way, Yerushalayim doesn't belong to any specific tribe, and therefore, Yerushalayim hapnuya ki'ir shechubra la'yachtam. Yerushalayim, when it's rebuilt and everybody gathers there together, kechubra la'yachtam, says the Midrash, she'osa kol Yisrael chaverim. When we're in Yerushalayim, we're all friends, because nobody's really balabait. Nobody really is the owner of Yerushalayim. We are all together in Yerushalayim, and Yerushalayim is equalizer. Everybody's equal when we get there. And therefore, it is interesting to see that Yerushalayim has a certain bracha that it brings to us. It brings us the bracha of optimism. I know everybody in their private life has challenges, and I know we as a nation, we have just our big challenges. And here in Israel, we have great challenges, but Yerushalayim brings us the message of optimism. The word optimism doesn't appear in the whole Tanakh, in the Bible, doesn't appear. The closest we get to that expression is in Tehillim Kuf Kaf Chet 128, and when David HaMelech tells us, Yivarechecha Hashem mitzion, we should be blessed from Tzion, from Yerushalayim. And once you're blessed from Yerushalayim, Ur'eh betuv Yerushalayim, Ur'eh betuv, to look at things positively. When you're in Yerushalayim, you have to look at things positively. We have to look at our future positively. We have to be hopeful. I'm so proud that Medinat Yisrael, the state of Israel, decided that their national anthem should be, our national anthem should be Atikva, which means the hope. And it was established because the prophecy in Yechezkel about the dry bones says, Abda Atikvatenu, we've lost our hope. We haven't lost our hope. We haven't lost our hope. We are optimistic. We have Yerushalayim. We are optimistic. And we're looking forward to the final days. What are the final days? They're coming up close because the Navi says in Yeshaya, Samach Pasuk Kafbet, HaKadosh Baruch says, Ani Hashem b'ita achishenu. When the time comes, I'll speed it up. So what does that mean? What does it mean when the time comes? Means slowly, slowly. Speeding up means fast. It seems like a contradiction. There are a few different commentaries on this contradiction. I want to mention the one of my great-great-grandfather, Radat, Rabbi David Kimchi, who writes something that I'm not sure he understood when he actually wrote it, which is, Ani Hashem, Be'itah Hashem, when the time comes, the whole reality will speed up. And we are just now in an era that everybody's trying to find faster things. We're looking for a faster plane and for a faster computer, and we speak faster and we think faster, and everything is going faster and faster. And when the time comes, we will live in a faster world, and it will bring us b'mheira b'yomeinu. B'mheira means fast, speedily. We'll get gula shleima b'mheira b'yomeinu. Amen.